Rocking tonight. The six-man club is here at the Arena Auditorium. It's Big Monday, presented by Bud Light. The Running Rebels of UNLV and the Cowboys of Wyoming. Critical game because both of these teams have some NCAA aspirations. Wyoming trying to get to 20. Vegas trying to get to 19. If UNLV wins it, our Star Watch guy will win it for him. Marcus Banks, the guard, has been unstoppable lately. And meanwhile, Uche and Sanwu Amadi had a double-double against Vegas. He's had a bunch of them this year. And Jimmy Dykes, he's going to touch the ball more than he did in a loss to San Diego State on this floor Saturday.
Only touched it 7 times, and he's a guy, Bob, I think Wyoming tonight will try to establish early and often.
That's Jimmy Dykes. I'm Bob Carpenter. Just had some senior night ceremonies here that were very, very nice. And the big tragedy of the night that Marcus Bailey is not on the floor. Cowboys get a turnover. And Dante Richardson draws an early foul on James Peters, one of the 2 UNLV forwards with J.K. Edwards. And for Wyoming, they've got a good perimeter game. But as Jimmy said, it has to revolve around Uche down low.
UNLV goes to the 2-3 zone off the out of bounds. Now they may go back to man-to-man when the game gets in a flow, but off the out of bounds early, they go 2-3. Not a surprise to Wyoming. They expect it to happen.
Senior starting for the Cowboys tonight. Jay Strait driving, short. Joe Reese underneath. No foul, but it will stay with the Cowboys. Second year for Charlie Spoonhour. His team is in a pretty good position if they can sneak this one tonight, because of course they've got the Mountain West tournament on their home floor.
In the first matchup, the team in red did not do a good job of defending the drive ability of the team in white.
Off the hands of Joe Reese. Each team has turned it over. Steve McLean's Cowboys have had a very odd season at home. They've won by 4 in overtime, by 2, and by 2. They haven't had a decisive win on this floor, yet they're 4-1 on the road in conference play.
Well, if they're going to win this ball game tonight, they got to do an outstanding defensive job on Marcus Banks, number 3 in the red jersey. Bob, he's averaged 26 points a game over the last 7 ball games.
Off the J.K. Edwards miss. Really, they've got 2 point guards out there with McMillan and Jay Strait. Uche, and a good look inside by Dante.
You see, a perimeter shot has not gone up yet without Uche touching the ball. Vegas comes back even in the even flow of the game and starts it in a 2-3 zone. So
you think it was discussed by the Cowboys staff since Saturday?
Many times. Look at Uche operating on the weak side against the zone right now. He steps out to the short corner, but then watch what he does when the ball's reversed. Boom, step right in front of the rim. They kind of overload it with the 4 and the 5 guy on the ball side block. Defender has to choose between 2 guys.
Dalron Johnson, air ball from the corner. Uche up high. His ball hit only glass.
That's not his strength. He's a power guy, Bob. 8 feet in, he can put a knot on your head. You get him outside of 15, he struggles.
Marcus Banks missing the 3. Uche putting it on the floor. And that's Dalron Johnson, who's really kind of a do-it-all frontline player for Vegas.
Yeah, he's the number 2 scoring option behind Marcus Banks. What you can't allow Dalron Johnson to do if you're Wyoming is to have one of those 20, 24-point nights. You better hold him to his average because you know Banks, he's going to get his.
Off the glass, nicely done. You've seen J.K. Edwards make a couple of pretty strong moves to the glass already. Joe Reese to Amadi, never got there.
Now, you can't force it to Uche, Bob, without making the defense move. You throw it to Uche after you pass the ball on the perimeter 3 or 4 times. That was a force.
Marcus Banks may be the same, but Dalron's there to flush.
Now, that's a guy that, again, he doesn't have a true position in the half court. He's a floater, and floaters are always a danger on the offensive glass.
Remember that 3-point shot he floated here 2 years ago?
Saw it on ESPN Classic this afternoon.
Oh, look at McMillan get by everybody. Joe Reese the finish. That's the way Chris used to play before he hurt that leg so badly.
You know, he still has a 2-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio, only 13 minutes a game. You talk to other coaches in this league, they're glad Chris McMillan doesn't get more than 13 minutes.
Edwards, that ball might have been deflected by Uche. Here's McMillan again, and that one was deflected from behind. Uche, kind of seemed like the ball just rolled out of his palm instead of his fingertips.
We have not seen UNLV at their strength, and that's getting a stop and boom, making it a foot race from defense to offense. They're not a great half-court offensive club.
Teams have combined 4 of 14 so far. Dalron Johnson the miss, Uche the rebound. He's averaging 10 boards a game.
You got a 2-3 zone on one end out of UNLV and straight man-to-man by Wyoming on the other.
Jay Straight well short. Got his own. Uche the fadeaway. I know you like that shot by the big guy.
Well, that's his favorite shot. He turns right shoulder and he can shoot that fadeaway jump shot with anyone in the country.
Jermaine Lewis with a quick three. Rebels on top, 5 minutes in, relatively low scoring compared to some of the other battles these two have had on this floor.
Bob, you can't have wasted dribbling against the zone. Catch that ball and move it quickly.
Dante Richardson. That's your way to start on senior night.
Another guy that's been putting up great numbers, averaging 20 over the last 17 ball games. So he's been very consistent for Steve McLean the last 2 months.
Marcus Banks. He was playing a forward position there. Chris McMillan couldn't stay with him.
NBA scouts in the house tonight will like what they see out of Marcus Banks on that play. He can run to the block because of his strength and score with his back to the basket.
Don't know if they all showed up, but we heard there were 14 of them scheduled to be in the building tonight. Dalron Johnson got all tied up with Dante Richardson. And Dante, the senior from Colorado Springs, will get his first. First media timeout. Uche, the fall away, sweep, and it's a tie. 6 minutes in.
ESPN's presentation of NCAA basketball is presented by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
One of the great places for school spirit and college hoops, the Arena Odd in Laramie. Bob Carpenter, Jimmy Dykes. And what about the resumes for these two as we look ahead to the Mountain West Tournament and beyond?
You know, coaches in this league, Bob, will feel like that the Mountain West deserves at least 3 teams in the NCAA tournament. Reason why, the overall RPI of the Mountain West ranks right now ahead of the Conference USA and Pac-10. Look at the schedule strength right there of UNLV 72, pretty good. They've won 5 of the last 6. That bodes well for the Rebels.
Basket, Omari Pearson, who checks in at the timeout.
And these are the 2 teams that have the best chance right now of getting maybe a 3rd bid if they don't win the conference tournament next week.
McMillan straight ahead, Joe Reese. Interesting that Steve McLean still has all of his seniors in there.
We look at Wyoming's resume. It's awfully good playing most of the second half of the year without Marcus Bailey is what you have to remember. A good RPI. It could be better. Certainly you want to be in the 30s this point of the year. Key wins over Texas Tech and at Vegas, and then losses. They did step out of the league and play at Kansas this year, which certainly helped them. And success last year. They beat Gonzaga in the first round of the NCAAs before a hard-fought battle with Arizona. So
yeah,
that has to play into the selection committee's mind just a little bit. They have proven themselves.
There's a good takeaway. Marcus Banks, he is off to the races, and Dante Richardson has to let him go.
He has as much speed with the basketball as anyone you'll see on the college level. That is the main reason why NBA scouts are in the auditorium tonight.
And the guys at Colorado State, who he riddled for 31 on Saturday, still haven't figured out how to defend him. Some guys trying to figure out Uche. He's got 6.
Great job of Uche posting up against the zone. And he just gets that big keister on you and backs you in, and then the power takes over.
Dalron Johnson off the feed by Omari Pearson, who gets the loose ball. Blocked by Maury Correa. Banks the miss. Rottinghouse the Wyoming rebound. Jay Straight, Correa, but we've got a foul on the pass. It'll be against UNLV's Jermaine Lewis.
Not a bad foul because it saved an automatic 2 at the tail end of the play. I mean, that's the type of action that the last couple of years Wyoming has really lit people up. That quick push, the transition game, especially here at home in the altitude.
Dalron Johnson, that deflection. 7,220 feet elevation here at the building the visitors call the Dome of Doom. Only problem is 3 visitors have come in here and won this year. Uche from Korea. He's getting his touches tonight.
Well, terrific job of executing a high-low play, Bob, against the zone. Normally, you talk about high-low plays against man-to-man defense. You can also use it against the zone, and Wyoming did it to perfection.
Well, with all due respect to Dante Richardson, who can really score, Wyoming's best formula is not 5 shots for Uche and 29 for Dante. That's what they did Saturday in losing on this floor to San Diego State. When are they going to score? Never, evidently. Couple of in-close misses by Omari Pearson. Here's Dante.
That's just about an automatic when that young man catches and is going to his left. A sweet stroke. And he shoots it the same way every time with the same elevation on his jumper.
Tough shot from the corner, and Jermaine Lewis, he's got a pair of 3s. How about these teams? They're 4 out of 7 beyond the arc. Uche shot well off. Good rebound. David Rottinghouse working hard, unable to get the follow. All tied up, 9 minutes in. These two know how to battle in Laramie. A nice little feed to Uche a moment ago.
Talked about it, a high-low against the zone. Watch Correa right here. He's going to become the high guy when he flashes. He flashes high, then a quick touch pass, high-low. That worked because the 5 guys in red jerseys, Bob, were all watching the ball. They weren't watching guys flashing from behind, and they weren't talking.
It also doesn't hurt when you've got 6'9" throwing to 6'10".
How about Uche? 4 out of 8 already in this ball game. He has more shots in this ball game, and we've only played 10 minutes, than he had the entire ball game on Saturday.
Ryan Wildenborg in for Wyoming. Maybe to offset some of that height advantage. Dante Richardson with another deuce. He doesn't have a 3 yet, but he has a couple, pardon me. I'm thinking of Marcus Banks. Dante has 8 already. Marcus Banks has 4, and he brings the Rebels up the floor. That's a travel by James Peters.
Watch the heads, Bob, of the guys on defense. If all 5 guys are watching the ball, they're asking for trouble. You've got to have an awareness and be looking around you and talking. Here comes a flasher. Here comes a shooter. If you don't, you're going to get lit up.
Dante Richardson air ball off the hands of Correa. Super Tuesday presented by Dollar Rent-A-Car. First, we're on ESPN2 with some biggies. How good has Syracuse been this year? Irish as well, 7 Eastern. And then over on ESPN, the number 3 Gators and number 25 Georgia, battling a lot of off-the-court problems right now. Jimmy D, is Florida a team that can get a number 1 seed?
Well, I think they have to win a few more games. I think people kind of hand it to them right now. and I don't think they've deserved it. I mean, just a few weeks ago, they took a real tail kicking in Rupp Arena. The good thing about Florida, they've won more road games, Bob, in the SEC than any other team over the last 4 years.
Jay Strait with about a 25-foot three. Here's Marcus Banks. Can't roll it home. Big B went for the offensive follow. And it looked like he was over the back.
What you have to do against Marcus Banks is make him hit tough shots. So you get back, you move your feet, and don't give ground, and make him finish over the top of you.
Yeah. Did you see him sitting on the shoulder of Jay Strait? Uche back. 8 points, 4 rebounds on 4 out of 8 shooting.
Bob, NBA scouts, here's what they'll look for. Does he have a true position? Yes, he's a true point guard. Can he defend his possession? Yes. He was the defender of the league last year in the Mountain West, talking about Marcus Banks. What is his NBA skill? The thing that he can bring you every night is breaking you down and getting into the paint.
Uche, the fadeaway, a little bit short. David Rottinghouse is being grabbed. That'll be number 2 on James Peters of UNLV.
Whether it's in a zone or man-to-man, you have to hustle defend against number 20. You got to hustle cover him because he doesn't have a real methodical, just by-the-book style of game, Bob. He's a guy that he runs in the half court. He crashes the offensive glass. He sneaks in behind you. You better hustle cover Rottinghouse for 40 minutes.
A little too close for that pass. Uche, he thought he got pushed out of bounds.
He thought he got pushed out of bounds because he did get pushed out of bounds.
He thought right. Official didn't feel the same way. Dalron Johnson. He has been unable to get involved much so far. And on the Wyoming charge down the floor, number 1 on the outstanding senior out of LA.
UNLV club comes in. They've won 5 out of their last 6. Their 1 loss was in overtime at Utah. And when we saw them look as bad as they've looked all year against Southern Cal about 3 weeks ago. Since then, they've been playing some ball.
3 straight in conference play. 6 of their last 7. Uche for Joe Reese. Never quite got a handle on it. Here's J.K. Edwards. He's been putting the ball on the floor tonight. Rottinghouse got it, gave it up to Lewis. And that's going to be a foul on J.K. Edwards. He and Joe Reese were flailing about on the floor.
You know, they both got tangled up, but at the tail end of the tangle up, Edwards reached out and grabbed him by the knee and took him down, and that's what the official saw. Watch in the middle of the key. I mean, they're just tangled up right here, and then watch at the tail end of it. See the arm wrapped around the ankle right there?
I think J.K. thought Uche was holding him down initially. David Adams into the game for Wyoming. He's the motion guy you see up into your upper left corner. Here's Dante Richardson. Hanging, scoring, Dante double figures.
Again, UNLV's lack of defending the drive. I mean, there was nothing fancy at all about that. They just passed it twice, got it to Dante, and in 2 dribbles, went right around the top of the zone. That can't happen if you're wearing a red jersey tonight.
Tough shot, Jermaine Lewis. Touch last by Wyoming. Vegas gets it back. What a start for the senior from Colorado Springs. Dante with 10 already.
McLean bids farewell to 4 outstanding seniors tonight prior to the ball game. Good look at Chris McMillan, a guy that's just done a tremendous job of leading this club the last 2 or 3 years. Dante Richardson stepped in for 2 years as a great 3-point shooter. The thing they missed the most about Uche on campus will be that brilliant smile, and then a huge round of applause for Marcus Bailey, who unfortunately was hurt, blew out his knee, missed pretty much the last half of the season. He's the all-time leading scorer at the University of Wyoming for a Wyoming resident. And they've applied for a medical red shirt for Marcus next year. Odds are that won't go through, but...
Come on, NCAA, let the guy play.
Exactly.
Perfect student, perfect citizen. You know what they should do? The number of games he played this year, that's how many he sits out, and then let him play the rest of his year. He would only be a fifth-year senior.
Right.
I think it's tragic if Marcus Bailey does not play basketball here again. Please let him do it. Second foul on Dante Richardson. Where's the passing lane? Great job by Wyoming. And then Adams gets fouled by Jermaine Lewis. 9 Eastern tomorrow night means NBA. Fast break Tuesday over on the Deuce. Kevin Frazier, Sean Elliott, Tim Legler. A full slate of NBA games each week. They take you right through it.
Having a live look in tomorrow night at the New Jersey Dallas ball game. Dallas with the best overall record. Two teams are in the hunt for the overall NBA championship here. Wally Walker, Seattle Sonics president and CEO. Now you've got something going when the president and CEO of an NBA team comes to watch you play. One thing about Marcus Banks, Bob, is he's durable. He's played every minute in 4 of the last 6 ball games, but so far in this one, he's a non-factor in the half court. He thrives in the open floor, but he's non-existent in this ball game so far in the half court set.
Hey, one thing he's got an NBA body on him at 6'2", 200 plus. Strong. You have to be strong to be a good defender in college hoops. This is Omari Pearson, the kick for Banks. Looking to create his own shot.
There you go.
Can't quite finish, but he'll go to the line.
See how quickly he got in that lane. I mean, he's got to play with that aggressiveness even when the game becomes a slow down tractor pull type affair. He's got to go around people because he has that ability. Look at him right here, just boom, has another gear, gets help with a little back screen, a ball screen by Dowron Johnson, or is Omari Pearson. But Bob, this is a guy that's one of the 15 finalists for the Oscar Robertson Player of the Year Award. That's how good he is and how well he's thought of on a national level. And those are good numbers in the Mountain West Conference overall. Second in scoring, 8th in field goals, 1st in assists, 1st in steals.
142 assists, 75 steals, averaging 21 points a game. 5 for Marcus tonight. 2-2 boys by 5.
2-2-1 3-quarter press by UNLV. Take your time. Normally getting a 1-3-1 set against a 2-2-1 alignment. Nice.
Nottinghouse says, I'm open, and they found him. Another good assist by Maury Correa. Big Monday presented by Bud Light. Arena Odd in Laramie. Carpenter and Dykes, your late night guys. This can't be our last Big Monday out here, can it?
How about that, huh? Next Monday, we'll be in the Savage Center in St. Louis calling the Missouri Valley Conference Championship game, and that could be a thriller.
If we get Creighton SIU,
yes, sir,
could be the game of the year in that league. They've already had 2 great battles. Looks like a Wyoming foul. That'll be on Maury Correa, his first. Utah won their game tonight at Air Force by 5. BYU by 10 at New Mexico. Colorado State surprises San Diego State. The Rams broke a 7-game losing streak.
Wyoming and UNLV on paper right now have the best chance of being the 3rd team that could get a bid if they don't win the Mountain West tournament. But again, coaches in this league, their argument, and it's verified and justified, is our league RPI is stronger than Conference USA and the Pac-10. How many teams are they talking about getting? How many are we talking about getting?
Well, they got 3 last year. Uche just took a finger in the eye, I believe, or maybe an elbow to the head. It looked like some inadvertent contact as he was going at it with J.K. Edwards. You see that bracketology graphic we had a moment ago? Later tonight, folks, we're going to talk a little bit about bracketology but there's a jumbo jet waiting to take off for the NCAA tournament. Jimmy Dykes may be at one of the controls of that plane. More on that later. If you need a reason to stay up, I just gave it to you.
Uche shooting 52% from the field, but he only shoots 9 times a ball game. Tonight, he already has 10 touches. That's a good sign for Wyoming. UNLV, while they stay in that 2-3 zone, again, they have to have awareness of not where the ball is, but where are people moving from behind? Where are the cutters? You got to talk, you got to look around, have an awareness.
Amani McCoon, who doesn't play a whole lot for Wyoming, getting some time in there. That's number 2 on J.K. Edwards. Charlie Spoonhour may have to sit him down.
Wyoming on the year, Bob, they have made 529 free throws. The opponents have only attempted 486. Now, those are great numbers. Those are kind of championship numbers you look for out of teams, making more than the opponent shoot.
Jay Strait watching Marcus Banks. Ernest Turner, number 12. First appearance for Vegas. Dalron Johnson the miss. Omani McCoon at 6'8". He's a junior out of Nigeria. JUCO guy at Vincennes, Indiana last year. Rottinghouse short with the 3. And Omani McCoon over the top with a foul.
Omani McCoon is first.
Uche on the bench with his 8 points and 5 boards. He's had 11 double-doubles this year.
Even with Uche on the bench, I think Wyoming has to stay patient against that zone. They can get an open 3-point shot about any time they want. Pass that ball 4 or 5 times and find out how hard does UNLV want to guard us tonight.
Banks open on a feed from Omari Pearson. 3 balls short. McCoon, another Wyoming rebound.
Banks only makes 1 3-point shot a game. He's not going to beat you from beyond the arc. That's some wasted dribbling against the zone. He had nowhere to go. That was dribbling without a purpose, and as a result, he gets tied up.
And the possession arrow goes the other way. Marcus Banks got the reach in that sort of took that whole play apart. Wyoming by 7, but they turned the ball over 6 times now.
Bob, look at this. Where is Adams going with this ball? That's 3, 4, 5 bounces of the ball and nowhere to go. He's searching for something that's not there. Pass that ball, make that defense move, make it go side to side, then attack towards the lane with a purpose.
Yeah, that's how you turn a zone defense into a triple team in a hurry.
Right.
Look at McCoon. He gave a little bounce to Marcus Banks there. First time tonight we mentioned the shot clock. It's at 10 as David Rottinghouse fouls Dalron Johnson. Dalron having a hard time getting in the flow tonight. One of the great shot blockers ever at Vegas. A 4-year guy who's had a wonderful career. And the folks here have never forgiven him for the 3 ball he hit at the buzzer 2 years ago. Uche and Dante watching as their teammates lead by 7. Final 4 minutes, first half. Jay Strait, good look. Adams up and under. He knew he had some big guys to deal with, and it goes back to Vegas. 3:42 before half. Cowboys on senior night by 7. Knows trying to do, but it's not fair to the guys who are there now.
No, because the head coach that was there when that occurred is no longer there, and some of the administration that was there when it occurred is no longer there, and that is just not fair. Ray Lopes has done too good of a job to have to suffer for past sins. Something needs to be done, Bob, in that situation where you're posing penalties on the people that were part of the problem, not people that are there trying to clean it up. I don't know what the answer is, but right now, Ray Lopes is suffering, and it's not his fault.
That also hurts the WAC because that was a team headed for the NCAA tournament. That may take them from a possible 2 down to only their tournament champion. Now, will Fresno be playing in that tournament?
I don't see how they can, no. Because if they win the WAC tournament,
Then
what do you do? Give it to the second place team. So you start holding the people accountable that hired the people that are doing wrong things, then you're going to get some stuff done.
Yeah, they'll think twice or 3 times before they make those hires.
You'll be staying in the 2-3 zone. Wyoming continuing to cut guys from the wing to the ball side wing and trying to hammer it inside to Uche in that high-low situation.
That's a travel on Chris McMillan. Lots of turnovers by the Cowboys, 7 of them. Vegas is taking care of the basketball pretty well.
Bob, I'm telling you, Marcus Banks with the ball right now. He can go by his man anytime he wants. He's in a partial funk right now when the game's in a half court. We've seen it happen before.
We saw it happen at New Mexico when his teammate Jermaine Lewis went off one night. And Marcus didn't do a whole lot that particular game. 8 points.
He can't get too caught up in making sure everybody else is involved. They've been at their best over the last 6 ball games when he's been getting 26, 27 points.
Uche for Jay Straight. Lots of traffic. Dante Richardson's 3. Rebounded by J.K. Edwards. Want to correct one thing. It was Demetrius Hunter, who's now hurt and cannot play, who went off that night in New Mexico with 24. Richardson, Rottinghouse, Uche!
Well, what I tell you about Rottinghouse, he's going to beat you with hustle plays. All he did that time was run on the weak side of the floor and get himself in position to make that pass.
J.K. Edwards, Uche the rebound. Final 2 minutes. 6 boards for Insanwu Amadi tonight, and a reach-around foul by Marcus Banks.
Great job of Rottinghouse on the weak side and Uche on the ball side to run the floor. And that's what teams in this league have been fearful of the most over the last 2 or 3 years, is Wyoming's ability to run on you. Haven't seen enough of that this year out of Wyoming.
Jay Straight, sophomore, out of Dunbar in Chicago, Mountain West co-freshman of the year last year with Jared Jensen of BYU.
Jay Straight now a respectable 36% shooter from the three-point line, Bob. Early in this year, he was like 24%. After defending honestly now.
He dropped 19 on UNLV when these 2 teams met at the Thomas and Mack February 1st. Wyoming won that game 90-80. Cowboys by 9, their largest lead. UNLV not used to having 19 points with 1:40 to go before half. Marcus Banks, too strong with it. Having a hard time making plays right now. Adams for Uche, and Adams may have looked at him too long. That's a travel as Jay Straight got in position at midcourt. Chris Fowler with a MassMutual halftime report. Jayhawks looking good earlier tonight as they got a W at Texas Tech. Big battle in the Missouri Valley, and we'll talk about the Mountain West tonight. Now, what about this airplane, Jimmy, that's waiting at the airport?
I think this is how we need to break this tournament down this year. It's an airplane with 65 seats on it, okay? That's what you're trying to fill up. In first class, you're going to have teams, for an example, already in first class. Arizona, Kentucky, Texas, that's an example of clubs that they're in first class. They don't have their seat assignment yet, but they're on, man. They're in the luxury deal.
They get a meal?
Business class, oh, big time meal. Business class, Xavier, Syracuse, Mississippi State, probably a good exit row seat, maybe even an aisle seat, plenty of leg room. They're in great shape. They're on the plane, they got their ticket. In coach class, but they're on the far back seat, Bob. They're way back there by the bathroom. The engines are really loud. They don't get a meal. They probably can't even see the movie from back there. That's going to be the winner out of the Atlantic Sun, the Big South, the SWAC, and on standby out at the gate right now, trying to tell the gate agent why we should get on that airplane. Teams like Alabama, NC State, UNLV, and Wyoming. That breaks it down. 65 seats on an airplane, and everyone's trying to get on it.
And I think it's flying south, isn't it?
Heading to New Orleans.
By the way, Jimmy mentioned the movie. Got to be Hoosiers.
Oh, the only movie you can play on that flight.
I didn't know anybody served meals anymore.
Well, see, we don't sit up there where Arizona, Texas, and Kentucky would be sitting. We don't even know what that part of the plane's like.
50 seconds to go. Vegas down by 9. Dalron Johnson, yes, and a foul.
He's got a lot of versatility in his game. You know, 6'10", he can fly the offensive glass. He can back you in and shoot over the top of a smaller defender. That's a good example of a 6'9" guy being guarded by a 6'6" guy in Rottinghouse. Just took his time, got his shoulder square, dropped the shot on you.
Dalron Johnson, 5 points only.
But for a club, UNLV, that leads the Mountain West in scoring, they're sitting there with 20 points right now with under a minute to go. So the pace of the game favors Wyoming.
Final 40 seconds.
Not one possession of man-to-man defense out of UNLV in the first half. They've stayed with the zone, feeling like Wyoming is not a great three-point shooting club, and trying to collapse around Uche.
Marcus Banks off to the races, jams it on a feed by Dalron Johnson. Big play by Dalron to steal that ball, and a 9-point deficit is now 5.
They need 4 or 5 or 6 transition baskets a game because, again, they are not a great half-court offensive team, talking about UNLV.
5 seconds to go. Jay Straight. Long 3, yes. A buzzer beater at halftime. Uche had a big first half with double figures. On his way to his 12th double-double. But look at the touches. Almost twice as many as he had in the entire game on Saturday. At the half, Wyoming on top, 31-23. Chris Fowler, it's all yours on a big Monday.
All right, Bob and Jimmy, thank you. Welcome to our Mass Mutual
presentation of NCAA basketball. Brought to you by Dollar Rent-A-Car. When it's your money, log on to dollar.com for our lowest rates.
Welcome back to Big Monday, presented by Bud Light, and a very, very special presentation took place at halftime here in Laramie. My partner at the stroke of midnight tonight is 50 years old. How about that? The big 5-0 happens for him right here in Laramie, Wyoming. I tell you what, partner, you got to learn to take the plastic off of that hat, huh? How about that? A cowboy hat for the gift and the whole bit. And you got to know which is the front and which is the back. I tell you what, for a guy 50 years old, your RPI is only 117. You need to have a very good next 3 or 4 games. You're going to be left out of that airplane.
I will never be able to go back to the big city. I'm a city slicker, folks.
You are a city
I didn't even know how to put this thing on.
You can put that plastic on if it's raining outside.
Okay,
that's the only time.
Hey,
you can't wear that golfing, by the way.
Thanks to Lee Moon, the AD here at Wyoming. Kevin McKinney, his great staff. A lot of fun.
Your RPI is way up there, though, I'm just telling you. We got 2 teams right now battling for a chance to hang in there for an NCAA berth is what we've got. The loser of this one, the only way they'll get in is to win the Mountain West tournament.
Dante Richardson. Going down low after the pass. 3-guard offense here for Wyoming. And if you're looking for SportsCenter, it's over on ESPN2. That is an intentional foul as Marcus Banks, his jersey was grabbed by Chris McMillan.
Good start for UNLV and Marcus Banks. Bobby has a speed that he kind of baits you in to habit passes across the top.
Marcus, keep your trunks on, brother.
Can take over a game as good as anyone in this league, and That's not the start that Steve McLean wanted coming out of the locker room, I can tell you.
Well, Vegas had a couple of momentum baskets right before halftime. But then Jay Strait with a big three for Wyoming kind of negated that. James Peters muscling his way in. Nicely done. First basket on his first shot of the night.
UNLV comes in to just sit back in that 2-3 zone. They're coming out and putting pressure on the ball. But again, I think they got to have a great awareness and not watch the basketball.
Not a lot of movement here by the Cowboys.
And slow ball movement, Bob. That thing's too slow going from one side to the other.
Oh, they find Uche deep, but he missed the shot. Rebound, Peters. Here's Banks, slashing, bouncing, scoring. He bounced right off of Chris McMillan.
Bobby's got takeover ability. He's on the verge of doing that in this ball game right now.
Uche trying to seal his man. Finally got the loose ball.
Boy, he got real lucky because Dante tried to force it in after one pass. You cannot do that against any kind of a zone that understands principles at all. Right here, you're talking about, see, that's a forced pass. Uche is lucky to come up with it and then has a free roam to the basket. In the first half, he was certainly the guy when he was on the floor. Again, that patented right shoulder turn and then the nice high-low that they executed against the zone. He's a force on the boards. He's the only guy in the Mountain West that's averaging a double-double.
A couple of quick fouls here on Wyoming. Dante Richardson just got his third. On the inbounds play, Chris McMillan gets his third. Banks. Maybe a little acting right there. And he's about to foul Chris McMillan out of this game. 3 quick fouls on McMillan since halftime.
But you see how Vegas uses Marcus Banks, Bob. Even in an out-of-bounds play, they invert their offense, running to the block, knowing that he's 6'2" or 6'3", and he's got a 5'10" guy on him. How about that reaction?
How about that flop? I guess if it works, Delron Johnson underneath.
A bad opening 2 minutes and 10 seconds by Wyoming to start the half.
Here's Reese. A little too strong. He'll take the blocking foul, though. And that appears to be number 3 on J.K. Edwards. So we've got some foul trouble mounting.
J.K. Edwards, his third. First team foul. At the line for 2, Joe Reese.
Now, I like to use the term must win because that insinuates the team that loses, that the campus is going to close down and you can't even go to school there anymore. It's a very, very important win, though, if you have a chance to try to hang in there on that standby list for an NCAA tournament bid. That's the importance of this ball game.
Two RBIs between 40 and 55. And a travel by the running Rebels. If UNLV can win this one tonight and then grab another one on the final weekend of the regular season, then they have the tournament on their home floor. You're looking at a Charlie Spoonhour team that could have 21, 22, 23 wins by Selection Sunday.
Yep. And again, what the coaches will argue is the strength of the league RPI-wise.
Uche underneath. And that's 14 for the senior from Nigeria.
Again, Bob, great execution of the high-low play by Wyoming against the zone defense. I don't see it enough in college ball. It's a great way to break down a zone.
Delron Johnson, little short. Uche the rebound. Dante says, I'll take it from here.
got to be patient. That's the second pass in this possession. 3 or 4 passes, you can start to try to attack the dark brown area on the floor. Now you can go to work.
Uche for Maury Correa. Dalron Johnson was in the way. Banks for 3. Nobody got him. Rebound Correa, who's done some interesting things tonight. That's his 4th rebound. He's had a couple of assists.
Marcus Banks can take the game over. He can't take the game over as a 3-point shooter, though.
Uche crashing as Adams, and not a good decision there.
Uche is a high percentage spot on the floor player. There's the high-low play again. See how all 3 red jerseys, Bob, were watching the basketball. I mean, they had no awareness of where Uche Amadi was operating along that baseline. The guy on the ball has to put pressure. The other 2 guys in the back line of that zone, they've got to be looking around. Where's the flasher coming from? Having awareness. Find people in your area.
David Rottinghouse back in. Dante Richards in a seat. Wyoming's got another problem now. 5 team fouls in 4 minutes of the second half. There's Marcus Banks penetrating. Jermaine Lewis. That's his 3rd 3. Hasn't missed one tonight.
So much attention was focused on Marcus Banks at the ball screen that they forgot about the shooter popping out on the wing.
Adams, a capable 3-point guy at the other end. Former Cougar of Washington State, and the Cowboys back on top by 6. Charlie Spoonhour wants a 30-second timeout. First called timeout, that'll make it a full. 4:40 out of halftime. Rebels down a half dozen. To be fair to the other teams, really must go that way.
Well, I think it's a no-brainer. Because if Fresno happens to win the WAC tournament, then what do you do for your automatic bid? You can't, what do you give it to the team that finished 2nd? It's not a knock against Fresno State right now, but that's what has to be done.
And it would also make a mockery of their championship game. Back to the Mountain West now here in Laramie, Wyoming. Cowboys by 6.
That high post is just open all night long in that zone for Wyoming when they flash to the elbow. The elbow is the corner of the lane at the high spot.
Deep to Maury Correa, cannot score. Dalron Johnson pulled down a rebound. Dalron, despite only scoring 6 points, 9 boards tonight. He kicks it for Lamar Bigby. Slashing in, rejected Correa, but a foul on the play. And for Maury Correa, that'll be his 2nd.
Well, this time of the year, you certainly don't give up easy points at the front of the rim. So you rotate over and make sure that you go hard at the ball and don't allow an easy layup on you. It's a good foul by Wyoming.
First point tonight for Lamar Bigby, a Vegas senior. Detroit kid out of Northern High School. Pretty good free throw shooter, 80%. Lots of emotion tonight. Senior night for some outstanding Cowboys.
Presented by Bud Light, Wyoming up 4. I talked about the elbow area, Bob, that Wyoming keeps attacking. Look at it right here. This is called the elbow area on the floor. Right there where Correa is standing, where that vertical line and the horizontal line on the lane intersect, right there on that intersection in that corner, that's called the elbow area. That's what coaches talk about all the time with their kids. Flash to the elbow, flash to the elbow. That's where Wyoming's doing their damage tonight as a passer in that elbow spot on the floor.
And it looks like when Maury Correa receives that ball, option A is Uche crossing the paint down around the basket looking for an easy look.
Normally option B is then to look to the other side of the floor, the weak side of the floor, to a shooter spotted up.
The analyst always taking it one step further. 14:20 to go here in Laramie. Dante Richardson penetrating, drilling the 15-footer.
What did he do, though, Bob? He caught the ball and he went left. He's a great shooter going left. So 4 or 5 times a ball game, when he catches it, you've got to get on his left shoulder and force him right and take that away. It's almost an automatic when he's going to that side.
Delron Johnson, nicely done. 8 for Delron, who's averaging 15.
This man-to-man out of UNLV. They go about 27 minutes of zone, and now they come out and go man.
There's the elbow. Correa putting it on the floor. And a foul underneath. I think Omari Pearson might have been grabbing Uche away from the ball. Super Tuesday on ESPN, Florida, Georgia. After a 7 o'clock game over on the Deuce, Syracuse and Notre Dame. Will Georgia make it? They may be lobbying for one of those seats right now. Pretty good record, though, in the SEC.
Well, it really is. Kentucky is the class of that league, and it's been a long time since someone's gone through the SEC undefeated. They have to go to Florida, and I like Kentucky in that ball game because I think Florida is too much finesse to match up with Kentucky's strength for 40 minutes.
Talk about a team after some early season struggles, gelling at the right time. What a job by Tubby Smith.
And they're doing it without a star. And he's got a whole bunch of guys that know their role.
Dante Richardson's roll, a deep 3, 15 for him.
Wyoming actually the best three-point shooting club in conference play. They were the last place three-point shooting club when conference play began.
42% in the league.
And if you forget how good Marcus Banks is as a penetrator for a second, 2 points on the board. He will go right by you.
Open is Correa. Dante found it.
Thought he was open because of all the attention that Uche was drawn on the ball side block. Forgot about Correa on the weak side, and Richardson found him.
Won't go for Jermaine Lewis. Omari Pearson, little jump hook move, nicely done. His second basket of the night. Richardson moving well off the ball. Creates another shot and a foul. He's in the flow now.
Bob, I'm telling you, as soon as he catches that ball, you've got to be on his left shoulder. See there, the defender doesn't do it, Jermaine Lewis. He actually attacked him on the high shoulder and actually forced Dante to go to his left. You can't let #1 in the white jersey go towards his left. You can, but you're going to get beat if you do.
They did, and he did. A 3, and now a chance for an old-time three-point play.
Only appropriate on a date that's 03, 03, 03. That doesn't happen very often.
It should be raining threes. Here's Banks for 2, and maybe 3.
His first.
He plays the game in different speeds. He kind of stands straight up and gets you to thinking he's just going to go 75 miles an hour, then boom, all of a sudden he's going 100. Those are the things that just not everyone possesses.
Marcus Banks, 15 on the night, and the Cowboys by 5. Maury Correa with a flush, but we're getting plays now at both ends. Having a big time at the Arena Odd in Laramie, Wyoming tonight. Big Monday presented by Bud Light. Rebels, Cowboys, Carpenter Dykes. Couple of teams going at it here. And the marquee guys are getting it done, aren't they, partner?
Well, mainly for Uche Amadi because they're getting touches. Marcus Banks, again, he's getting his pretty much on his own. When he wants to go by it, he does. And Uche depends on his teammates for him to get his numbers.
Uche not that much lately. So Dante Richardson takes over. And he has scored 17. There he goes again. His defender fell down. He could have had a shot. And then Uche steps through and draws a foul.
UNLV just doesn't have the height or the width to match up with Uche on that low block. Not man-to-man. So knowing that, the help defender assigned to Uche has to be there on the touch, because he's getting them tonight, 20 of them on the evening.
15 more than Saturday. 15 points for Uche and Sanmu Amadi.
And he is a great young man. Get a chance to visit with him. He's got one of those magnetic smiles that just draws you to him. Engaged to be married this summer. One of the most popular guys on campus. He certainly is the big man on campus, but he's also the most popular guy on campus.
I'm just trying to imagine him playing soccer like he did back in his native Nigeria. He would be my goaltender. Here's Marcus Banks, or goalkeeper, as they call it. And that's 17 for Marcus tonight.
Well, Marcus Banks does a great job of reading the ball screen. The defender helped out and stopped him for a second, but as soon as the help defender retreated, Bob, boom, he went right back to attack. He understands how to re-attack as good as anyone out there.
Dante Richardson got open to his left. Rebound, Dalron Johnson.
Look at that.
Only the 8th turnover by UNLV tonight.
Watch the ball screen at the top of the key right here for Marcus Banks. You see the big ball screen. Look at Uche step out and help, but then he goes back, and Marcus Banks reads it and re-attacks. You step out to help on Marcus Banks, you got to make certain that you force him to back dribble and go towards that half-court line, because he's just baiting you. As soon as you back off of him, boom.
Problem is, if you hang around too long, your guy might be waiting for a layup if Marcus can find him.
Yeah,
and he is a good assist man, too.
Right, but that guy is not going to beat you over a 40-minute game. Number 3 in red will beat you over a 40-minute game.
Correa got a zone rebound. Minutes to go. Cowboys by 4. If any of you folks were watching ESPN Classic this afternoon, you know these two clubs have had some great battles on this floor in recent years, and we are nip and tuck again tonight. There's the high-low. Uche got fouled. I mean, Correa at 6'9" could just see over everybody to make that pass.
But he's not having to see over anyone right now, because his defender is backed off and trying to help down on Uche. He's actually in no man's land, though, and his defender has to get up on him, talking about the guy that's covering the passer when they go to the high-low. You don't gain anything by backing off in that high-low set.
That's only 5 team fouls against UNLV. Correa against J.K. Edwards, who got the rebound.
You get away with covering Correa man-to-man on that low block. You can't get away with guarding Uche man-to-man on the low block.
Dalron Johnson, double figures. He's such a smooth player. He'll find a way to get his, even though he shot 1 for 8 in the first half.
And UNLV has a big squad on the floor. 3 guys that are 6'9". Wyoming only has 2. As a result, Dalron has a height advantage, and they're isolating him on that low block, letting him shoot over the top of a smaller defender.
And he's a guy who has perimeter skills. Coaches call him, the Vegas coaches, the most versatile player in the Mountain West. Off the hands, Adams gets it. A jump ball. Shot clock was about to expire anyway.
Adams is not a threat to beat anyone off the bounce. He gets in trouble when he starts dribbling that basketball. Watch the shot clock right here. There it is. Same time as the 2 thumbs went up.
You know, Vegas was about to get a turnover anyway. The only bad thing that happens to them there, the shot clock goes back to Wyoming. They could have had the ball and the clock. Charlie Spoonhour's at the table. I think he's asking if the shot clock expired before the jump ball called, Jimmy, because that would keep the possession arrow in his direction. I think Tom O'Neill's explaining that the call came just before that buzzer went off. Eight minutes to go here in Laramie. Crucial game for both of these clubs regarding postseason aspirations. J.K. Edwards ties it, and a foul.
Now that's the guy we've talked about. Wyoming and Uche need more touches. UNLV would like to get J.K. Edwards more touches. Averages 9 points a game, only 5 shots a game. But he is their best pure low post power type scorer, and that was a great example of it.
And he is a load, as my partner would say, at 6'8", 250 plus. Fails to give him the lead. Omari Pearson gets the rebound. Dalron Johnson, the misfire. Whose ball? Rebels. The under 8-minute timeout. Over the years, these two have gone at it in Laramie. We're tied. 7:50 to go.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball, brought to you by the Home Depot, driving down the cost of home improvement.
March 3rd, crucial time for the Cowboys of Steve McLean and the running Rebels of Charlie Spoonhour, with so much at stake as we look ahead to the Mountain West Tournament next week.
Well, I know that's not a great RPI. You want to be in the 30s this time of the year, but there's a lot more that goes into it than an RPI. Talked about UNLV. If they win this ball game, gives them 19 wins, and they go home and get their 20th win, and they host a tournament in Wyoming with a much tougher schedule. Finish up in the Beehive State with the Cougars and the Utes. That will not be easy at all.
Going the other way on a Vegas foul. Dalron Johnson moving an elbow around.
I could go back to school, I'd major in bracketology. You work hard for, 3 or 4 months out of the year, and then the rest of the time you're golfing and riding horses.
You spend the rest of the year explaining yourself. Jay Straight for 3. Upstairs rebound, James Peter of UNLV, as the Rebels have a chance now to go on top again. Marcus Banks to the baseline. Got it up in a hurry, but that shot was adjusted by Maury Correa. Dante Richardson.
Something you don't see him do a lot. Take it all the way in transition to the rim.
19 for Dante. 1 point away from his 13th 20-point game of the year.
Banks has to stay aggressive. I know he's missed some inside tonight, but he's the scoring threat on this club.
Jay Straight to steal. Shovels. Rolling house.
I mean, he never scores in conventional ways. They don't run plays for him. He doesn't come off screens and knock down shots. It's always off of a hustle play. Running to the rim, an offensive rebound, scoring in transition.
With the crowd roaring, Dalron Johnson sneaks down low. Good poise by the Rebels there. House to Uche. Nice pass, David.
The good sign for Wyoming, Bob, is they haven't forgotten about Uche Amadi. At times in the past, They'll remember him the first 7 or 8 minutes and then go blank on him. He's still involved in this game late in the second half.
Charlie Spoonhour has only 2 timeouts left.
There you see 2 trips ago. That's the hustle play by Rottinghouse. Just the willingness to get out and run and finish in transition. Plays the game with a big Valentine. Doesn't have a lot of talent, but plays hard. And then the nice pin. See how low he actually sat on the legs of his defender. He sat on him, locked his defender in, established position, and turned and scored.
Uche, 2 rebounds away from his 12th double-double.
J.K. Edwards returns for UNLV.
Marcus Banks. Oh, great finish. 19 for him.
Set play by Charlie Spoonhour. The timeout to swing 3 guys to this side of the floor, and all it did was allow Marcus Banks to go one-on-one from up top. Good call by Coach Spoonhour and the timeout.
Nobody in this league can stop him one-on-one right now. Rottinghouse to Uche, a give and go. Off his head to Maury Correa. How about that for an assist? Rottinghouse still laughing about it. Back iron with a Marcus Banks deep 3. Uche, 9th rebound. Cowboys some momentum now. 4:40 to go.
Uche has a small defender on him in Amari Pearson. He's not tall enough or strong enough to match up with him. There he goes.
Rottinghouse finds him again. Goaltending J.K. Edwards.
Last 2 trips for Wyoming, it's involved number 5. Off the head of Rottinghouse, right to 31. And the next time down, there he is. He recognizes a smaller defender's on me. Give me the ball, they'll have to foul me to stop me.
Now I know what coaches have meant for years when they call a guy a heady player. And David certainly qualifies as that in many different ways. That's a charge on Marcus Banks. And this building is rocking on the high plains 20 minutes before midnight Mountain Time.
Good job by the defender, Jay Strait, to keep moving his feet and draw the foul. As long as he's established position with his torso facing the dribbler, he can be moving his feet backwards. UNLV back to the zone. They've been vulnerable in the high-low play by Wyoming. There it is again.
Dalron Johnson fouled Maury Correa.
Bob, that was the high guy recognizing the opening and just flashing to the low spot. It was all triggered from the high-low set of Wyoming against this zone. Watch 31. He's operating at the elbow. See him around the elbow right there. He's at the elbow. The highlight goes low. The high guy reads it and rolls low. They've gotten a lot of good stuff out of that set tonight.
It's got to be killing Marcus Bailey on senior night to only be able to watch. We would love to see number 44 out there. Maury Correa drills them both.
It's easier to watch when your club's up 8 than if your club's behind 8 on senior night.
Introducing
Arena odd in Laramie. Cowboy fans going crazy. They're on top by 8. Big Monday presented by Bud Light. And tomorrow night, you will be looking live. Some good look-ins around the NBA. Kevin Frazier, Sean Elliott, Tim Legler. NBA Fast Break Tuesday, 9 Eastern on the Deuce. The featured matchup, Vince Carter and Mr. Michael Jordan tomorrow night.
Also be looking at the T-Wolves, winners of 7 in a row. Possibly the emerging MVP, Kevin Garnett, in that ball game.
And Kobe's taking a lot of the headlines from him, huh? Dalron Johnson stopped by Rottinghouse. He still scores, and Dalron has 14.
Because he's taller is the only reason why he made that shot.
Dante Richardson. Straight. Rottinghouse has been a great passer here in the second half, and Dante keeps him from throwing that ball away. Dalron Johnson with a foul. That'll be his fourth. If this game's close, Wyoming fans hope Dalron has fouled out before the last minute arrives. Playing with 4 now, Dante Richardson, 85% free throw guy.
Well, UNLV's done a good job tonight is defending without fouling, because again, Wyoming normally shoots a lot more free throws than their opponents. Tonight, it's 13-12.
Well, that's a bad miss when you're up by 6. 3 minutes to go. 4 years ago on this floor, we saw the Cowboys miss free throws, layups, everything you could imagine to give away a lead. They managed to hold on at the end. 2 years ago, it didn't work out that way. Rottinghouse on the foul as Vegas came from behind to win that game. Pretty even. Certainly not like the Utah-New Mexico game the other day.
How about that? 54 free throws by New Mexico and 7 in that ball game by Utah. There's something strange going on there now, I'm telling you.
Ruben Douglas shot 4 times as many free throws as the Utah team.
Ruben Douglas will be mentioned for Player of the Year in this league. Marcus Banks on the floor tonight will have some votes. Mark Jackson from Utah will be included. Travis Hansen, BYU. 4 or 5 guys will be there in the running. I always like the guys that led his club to the championship, if my vote would count.
You might have just named 4 guys on the All-Mountain West first team. Vegas with pressure. Remember, that came after a missed free throw. .240 remaining. And what you would call a rather quiet, nervous arena auditorium in Laramie. Uche. How that pass get through? Shot clock at 7. Rottinghouse straight for 3, way off, and good hustle, Maury Correa. He seemed to know where that thing was going before anybody else.
Dante Richardson is the #1 option on the perimeter for Wyoming. Jay Strait is #2. Rottinghouse will just be out of desperation if he fires one up. The other thing you defend is the high-low set for Wyoming. You got to talk. You got to communicate if you're wearing a red jersey right now in this possession.
Dante Richardson, tough shot. Rottinghouse,
how about that guy?
He's amazing.
How many hustle plays is he going to make in this ball game? As many as you're letting.
He's a human lifeboat. McMillan, check it. It was Jay Strait getting up there, and Wyoming gets it back after a great basket by David Rottinghouse. Cowboys by 6, 1:25 to go.
I know Uche and Dante have scored points tonight for Wyoming, but I would give the MVP ball to Rottinghouse tonight. I mean, he has made timely big plays, and that's a timely, costly turnover.
Marcus Banks, the steal, the drive, missing, and it's a good thing Omari Pearson got down with it. Timeout Vegas, 1:06 to go. Big sequence for the Rebels, back to within 4.
Man, you can't get careless with that basketball. See, Dante, the one time they force him going left and he misses tonight, and there's the hustle play by Rottinghouse I'm talking about. I mean, he knew when Dante started going left, that was his cue to go to the offensive glass because he knows a shot's going to follow. You see Marcus Banks take it up hard, tries to go to the other side of the rim, but then a hustle play to come in and clean it up by Omari Pearson.
Our reset has a couple of interesting numbers. How about the second column? 0 for UNLV full timeouts, only 1:30 left. Cowboys have the possession arrow, and Steve McLean still has 4 of his timeouts. He has not called one tonight.
Both clubs will shoot the automatic 2 on the next common foul. Bob, again, this is a critical game for both of these ball clubs. The winner still on the board on that standby list, trying to get on an airplane that only has 65 seats. The loser, their only chance is to win the Mountain West Conference tournament next week. There's what it looks like.
Utah, BYU, both winning their games tonight. Boy, San Diego State, they expected to be 7-6, but Colorado State got them down at MBB Arena about 80 miles from here earlier tonight. Dante Richardson, backcourt.
1 minute.
A minute to go.
You cannot throw a floater against the press. That was a floater.
Jermaine Lewis intercepted. Marcus Banks, yes. 2-point game. We have seen this on this floor before. Riding House timeout. As mentioned earlier, Wyoming had 4 to work with.
Timeout, Wyoming.
Bob, against any kind of full court pressure, you can't throw a high school hairy pass, and that's exactly what that is. Just a floater. It's just up for grabs. I mean, that's a critical turnover by Jay Strait, and then Banks is going to, he's just going to take it to the rim. You know that. Charlie Spoonhour is going to come back out now with more full court pressure. Will he change it up? It's been a 2-2-1 look all evening long when he's gone full court. He may change it up just one possession and try to throw Wyoming off. The front line of that Vegas press is bigs. It's 2 big guys that are forming the initial 2 in the 2-2-1. You would think the Wyoming guards would just split it and beat the thing off the off the bounce.
Maybe time to mention again how poorly Wyoming has played at home this year, losing to BYU, Utah, and San Diego State. They're only 3-3 on this floor. Foul before the pass ever came in, as J.K. Edwards dumped Dante Richardson.
55, J.K. Edwards is 4.
Look at Edwards right there, the push. There's too much contact, and Dante Richardson goes down.
Lonnie Dixon right there to make the call.
UNLV using their 4 and 5 men to play the front part of the press. Kind of unique.
That's a nice senior night right there. But a couple of free throws would make it nicer. He missed his last one. That was a 1-and-1.
The only nice senior night has a W beside it at the end. Especially for Wyoming getting ready to head to Utah and BYU, huh?
Dante Richardson, 20 on the night. Wyoming timeout, 52 seconds to go in a 1-possession game. Look at that road record. Scoring about 16 points a game more away from home and shooting 12% better.
Can't explain it. Talked to Steve McLean yesterday for about a half an hour, and that's one of the topics we discussed. You see, I don't know. I don't know if it's our focus is better on the road or we thrive in front of, the crowds, but that's really unusual for any team in college ball to shoot that much better on the road than they do at home. You won't see those numbers, folks, very often.
We've had years in this league where the top teams have only won 1 or 2 road games the whole year. How about Marcus Banks tonight?
They've made him take some tough shots, and he's missed some of those tough shots. He's also kept his club in the game, and Amadi has stayed in the game because his teammates, Bob, have kept him in the game.
Not to be forgotten, Dante Richardson of Wyoming with 20. But sometimes these games in the last minute aren't decided by the frontline guys because they're drawing lots of attention.
You don't need a 3, you just need a quick hoop.
Quick but ineffective. Great rebound, J.K. Edwards. Dante Richardson, I believe, knocked it out. UNLV gets it back. 33 shot clock, 36 game clock.
That should be a reset. If Dante knocked it out, they should reset it to 35, but it won't come into play regardless. Again, I don't take the three here. I extend the length of the game by putting points on the board this possession. There you go.
Marcus Banks drawing a foul. Chris McMillan fouls out. And farewell to a senior who would have had a spectacular career were it not for a terrible leg injury.
Chris McMillan did all he could, moved his feet, tried to stay in front of Marcus Banks, and Banks just has too much strength and quickness at the tail end of the play.
Chris McMillan, no points, couple of assists. Second all-time in assists at Wyoming with 429. Sean Dent, class of '88, 502. Hats off to that kid from Brea, California.
And he injured that leg sliding into second base in a summer softball game. Man, oh man.
22 for Banks. And this to make it a one-point game.
White jerseys have to step into the legs of red jerseys on that free throw line in case there's a miss here. They did. Look at all the bodies on the floor. That's how you do it, though.
Adams gets up, receives the pass. Into the hands of Jay Strait. Adams again. No shot clock.
He is not
timeout Wyoming. Just before it might have been a turnover.
Well, Charlie Spoonhour calling for the traveling violation. I'm not so sure he wasn't right. David Adams is not the guy you want dribbling the ball up against full court pressure. Not his strength. Tell you what, when does he call timeout? There's one step, two steps, three steps.
That's a travel.
Yeah, that is. I mean, you got to come to a stop and put those hands together. I think Charlie Spoonhour was exactly right.
Kevin Frazier, Linda Cohn. Next with Sports Center. Who's the worst organization in sports? Will Jeff Kent miss Barry Bonds? I can tell you that one. Absolutely not. And some bubble trouble. Familiar teams you may not see come NCAA tournament time. Or do we call that takeoff time? 21 seconds to go. Wyoming ball. Cowboys have called 3 timeouts in the last 28 seconds. So they've got one. Vegas has one. Cowboys have the possession arrow.
That's not the easiest place to inbounds a ball either. You got to make sure if you catch it in the backcourt, you've established yourself in the backcourt. Oh, they got him. They've absolutely got him right there.
But they foul him. Jermaine Lewis. And walking to the line, David Adams. In conference play, an 83% free throw shooter.
At the Cowboy line for 2, David Adams.
If he can make them both, yeah, Ron Johnson back in. A 3 cannot beat them.
I don't think if you're Vegas, you take the 3, though. There's plenty of time left, 18 seconds. Take it quickly to the paint with Marcus Banks and extend the length of the game.
Good job, Adams. Corey Correa in as the Cowboys get taller on defense.
Bob, a missed 3 here probably seals the fate of UNLV. So take it to the paint and, again, just get points on the board this possession quickly. There he
Marcus
goes.
Banks right to the rack. Pass to Edwards. Missing. Tip in. Dalron Johnson. Timeout, Spoonhour.
Exactly what Charlie Spoonhour wanted, man. Get that ball in the hands of Marcus Banks because you know he can get from one end to the other in 3 or 4 seconds. Now the game is extended. UNLV is still in this thing. Play the percentages. Good hustle play right there by Edwards coming in. He's a very valuable guy. I mean, he's going to make, 6 out of every 10 shots he takes over the course of the season.
But again, the most versatile player Vegas has, Dalron Johnson, right on the spot with the tip-in. 1-point game. Rebels out of timeouts. Steve McLean can call one more in case he has a problem getting this ball inbounds. That is crucial.
Changed his press look up. It's not a 2-2-1. It's a 1-2-1-1. They're going to fight hard the inbounds.
To Richardson. Jermaine Lewis grabs him. 1.8 seconds. Make it 2.8. Came off the clock. Jermaine Lewis fouls up.
He's been good on the season, but only 25% tonight. Tells you percentage-wise, chances are he's going to make these. Funny things happen, though, when there's only 8.3 on the clock and your club's up 1.
Sports Center next here on ESPN, our 2 a.m. East Coast edition. Only midnight here in the Mountain West. Talk about some bad organization, some spring training baseball, and some NCAA trouble on the bubble.
And you know how I feel in this situation if you're Dante Richardson.
Here we go.
The entire timeout, all you've done is tell yourself they fouled the wrong guy. You should have fouled someone else, because I'm going to step up here and make 2 in a row and end this ball game. That's the thought process you have to have.
He makes this. Vegas has to have a 3. Well fought out. Perea back in for Wyoming.
Same scenario as 2 years ago. Dalron took it out. They kicked it back to him, and he beat him with a 3 at the buzzer.
Marcus Banks kicks the ball. Wyoming's got it. Wyoming is going to win it.
Great defensive play for Wyoming to seal the victory. Marcus Banks is going to bring it up. You see the clock? He kicked it. How about that? Look at the kick right here. I mean, it looks like Dante has a lot of contact on the backside of Marcus Banks and forces Marcus with a turnover. But the call doesn't go in favor of the team in red, and Steve McLean, the guys walk off the floor with a win.
Wyoming still breathing. 20 wins. They take it 69-66. Sports Center is next. For Jimmy Dykes and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Bob Carpenter. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Worldwide leader in sports. Good night from an ecstatic Laramie, Wyoming.